Hi, this is video number 337. Weather here today is hot and humid. We're talking about record temperatures this afternoon maybe, so we're saying by Friday it's supposed to get a lot cooler. I'm looking forward to that. See, today did a lot of treasurer stuff this morning. I had a lot of checks to write and so forth, so that took me some time. Did a workout, got the carpet cleaned on Saturday like I said I was going to do. And I did it again this morning just to make sure. So it's looking pretty clean, the living room carpet. So probably take the carpet cleaner out later this morning, or well, this afternoon actually. It's afternoon now. No Eli bus duty today. That was good. Hope we got on the bus okay. Okay, let me see what else. Harold was here yesterday. He's not sure if he's going to be flying down south or if he's going to drive. If he drives, I'll probably go with him. If he flies, he'll probably go by himself. So not sure what's going on there yet, but he's going to be going down to the funeral there for his, I guess it's his second cousin actually. See, church yesterday, I have a church story here. About a year ago, there was a guy, he came to church for a while. He's the son of somebody who actually goes there all the time. He used to sit up front. He's a really, really big guy. So one day I'm going into the restroom, okay, and there's this other guy who's about my age. His name is Bob. So Bob and we go into the restroom, and this guy, he's a younger guy, probably middle 30s or so. He's in there, he's like at the urinal, and he has his pants pulled all the way down to the floor. And like right there it is, and we just kind of like, I mean, what do you say? We kind of looked at each other, Bob and I did, like, what in the world? And we're thinking, what if a little kid comes in here and sees this? Like, well, Daddy, what's this guy have his... So anyway, like, we just kind of stared at each other, and nobody said a word. And, you know, everybody, you know, we did what we had to do in there. And everybody left and so forth. But now, over the last year, every time I go in there, and like if Bob's in there, we just start laughing. We just look at each other and start laughing because of that particular scene. So yesterday, it was before the service. Like, we were both in there, and like we saw each other, we started laughing, and just, you know, they're just, I mean, what do you say? You know, there were no words. And then later, I went in again, and I'm in there for a while, and then Bob comes walking, and we just cracked up. It was just so funny that, yeah, this younger guy, he had, I don't know what was up with that, but I was thinking, like, what if a little kid would come in here? Like, what if Eli would come in here and see? He wouldn't let that go. He would have to say something. He's, Pappy, what's that guy got his pants down for? I was like, yeah, that was weird. So, that's kind of funny. Like, Bob and I have this bond now because we saw something that was so horrible. That, anyway, emails. I got 3 emails here. I'll talk about them a little bit. The last video I did, I got cut short by about 8 minutes. So that's a real hassle for me when, like, I get to the end and, like, for some reason my computer now, my laptop is doing one of those sorry you have a problem, and has like a little frown sign, like an upside down smile sign, like we have to restart your computer. And so you lose a bunch of stuff too if you haven't saved it. So that's what happened with the last video. Maybe I should make the video shorter in case that happens, and then, you know, I won't have to go back and do them. We have 3 emails here. The first one I got a couple days ago. It says, "Hi Don, could you talk about coping with terror and benzo withdrawal? It is my worst symptom along with nerve pain. How to keep on how to keep hoping after 16 months out." Okay, yeah. Fear is a biggie. Fear is a very big one. In fact, it is so big that my very first video, I think, I talked about 2 things, and one of them was fear, how it's a symptom that almost everybody has it. Almost nobody is spared from it. I've only known like 1 or 2 people that actually have been spared from the fear, and they're not all the way through they weren't all the way through withdrawal. So it seems like a lot of the symptoms, people get primarily the same symptoms, but they can come and go at different times. So fear is not one that people get spared much with. Yeah, fear is a biggie. What I did was, okay, what I'm going to do when I post this video, and I haven't done that yet, there was a picture, Angela, who did a video back in June when I was in Syracuse. I put one of her videos beside mine when I was in Syracuse, I don't know if she drew the pictures or other people drew the pictures, but on Facebook she had this, it's like a collection of pictures of like different symptoms in withdrawal. And she was talking about if, instead of like trying to explain these symptoms to doctors and people who have never been in withdrawal, maybe the picture would be a better thing for them to actually feel maybe and kind of understand a little bit what these symptoms are all about. And one of them was, she calls it anxiety. It has the caption anxiety. And I don't know if she drew these or if somebody drew them for her. And it's a picture of a person in bed who's just like in terror. They have covers over them. And that's exactly how I felt when I was in withdrawal. I want to put that picture on when I post this when I post it on the video room. I want to put that picture below the link. But that's how I felt. In the morning when I woke up, I was just in, for about 45 seconds to a minute, I would be like okay, and then I could just feel the terror pouring in on me again. I was saturated with terror. I can remember mornings when I was terrified to get out of bed. I would actually curl up under the covers in a ball and just lay there and shake because I didn't want to get out of bed, because my fear was I have to go back downstairs today and go through another day, and how am I going to do that? And I would be terrified. So that picture that's pretty much the way I was, although I would get balled up and get under the covers and just, I don't even know what I was hiding from. I wasn't hiding from anything. I just didn't want to face, I guess I just didn't want to face the world. I didn't want to face withdrawal. I didn't want to face the whole idea of like, what am I going to do for another day till I get back in this bed? So that's how my day started, in fear. And the fear, it followed me all day. Toward evening, it would be a little better. Like after I would have lunch, it would start to subside a little bit, because I knew, well, I'm getting closer to when I can go back to bed and maybe get some sleep. So yeah, how did I cope with it? I think I did it. There were a number of things I did. I don't know if I did them actually consciously on purpose, or if my body had like a certain defense mechanism that it caused me to do these things. But my days were very, very regimented, very ritualistic. I had like lots of rituals when I would get up. I'd go downstairs. Well, I would make the bed first, which was torture. I would make the bed every morning, put my sweatpants on, usually in a sweatshirt, go downstairs. I would put water in the coffee maker, but I would not make coffee. I would just make a cup of hot water, take it in to the living room, sit there, read my meditation thing, our daily bread. And in the daily bread, I would circle good words like love and goodness and compassion and hope and those kinds of words. I would underline different kinds of things like that, hopeful things. I do that. I I didn't pray so much. I didn't pray so much because I couldn't pray. I had that one prayer, that, I hurt. I know you know I'm hurting. If I get through this, make me who you want me to be. I had that one. That was pretty much the thing that I prayed mostly. So I would do the meditation stuff. Then I would get the newspaper and I would look into the puzzles. I would try to do the puzzles, which was very, very difficult for me to do, but it was sort of a distraction, although it caused me a lot of anxiety too, because my cognition just was not there much. So I would do that, sit there, finish my water. Typically then I would go upstairs. I would walk back and forth. I would pace back and forth between two bedrooms, across the hallway between the two bedrooms. I would do that. I would turn the computer on in the one bedroom, and I would sit there. Like if I got really tired, sometimes I would sit there and I would go to Benzo Buddies or one of the other forums and just stay there for hours and look for new things that were posted, read success stories, print out success stories, do stuff like that. That was my morning pretty much. And if I could make it till noon, then there was lunch, okay? And lunch was almost always the same. Sunday sometimes it differed a little bit. It was always oatmeal with all of the same stuff in it, peanut butter, a banana, either raisins or dried cranberries, vanilla, cinnamon, and a few other things that I would put in there. Always the same, always made exactly the same every day, have it at the same time every day. When that was done, I would usually go back upstairs, pace, look at Benzo Buddies some more. Sometimes I would sit, if it was really, really bad, I would sit there and there was a clock in that room that had a second hand. I would watch the second hand go around. I would count each minute that I survived. I would do that. Sometimes like the wire, like I took a wire out of a, it was like the binding in a notebook, and I would try to straighten it. I would spend hours doing that. Anything to like try to get my mind off of mostly the fear, but other things in withdrawal too, all of the symptoms. But the fear was like, my fear was I have to be able to get through the day. That's my job today. I have to do that. And it just created tremendous fear in me that I wouldn't know what to do throughout the day. So I had all these rituals. It's just very regimented stuff. So I would do that until about 3 in the afternoon. At 3 o'clock, I would take my big wad of success stories that I had printed out, come down here, sit in the chair right over here beside me. I would start reading those. My wife would bring me down 2 slices of toast with jam on them and some kind of a tea, an iced tea, of some flavored iced tea. And I would sit there and eat my toast, drink my tea, read my success stories. That was the one time of the day that I had lots of hope, or some hope. I would get those little bursts of hope reading those stories. Then I would put the stories down and I would lay back in the chair and try to get a little bit of sleep, okay? Knowing, and this was part of what I did too, knowing that if I fell asleep when I woke up, I would be in absolute numb terror. I would just be numb with terror. But I wanted to sleep because it was the only time my brain could actually seem to turn off and not think about how bad I felt. But I also wanted to it was part of my ritual. It was I have to do this. I have to lay back here. Even if I don't fall asleep, I still got to do this. And I would wake up. It would take me a good about 15-20 minutes for the numbness of the fear to go away. And then in the summertime, that one particular summer I remember the most, we had impatiens. It's the last time impatiens were any good around here. There's flowers. They got some kind of virus after the rust or something, I don't know. But that year we had really nice big impatiens, and I would go out every day and I would water them. That's what I did after I get up from the the sleep there. And then it would get to be around like not too long till supper time, and then I knew like if I make it to supper, I'm good. Okay, I would have my supper. Then I would typically put on, if I hadn't changed clothes, I would put on my kind of like my sweats again, a t-shirt, come back downstairs, and that is often when I would do my latch hooking. I did a lot of latch hooking because it was repetitive, over and over and over. And all of this was primarily for the fear, to like keep my mind busy, to keep me busy doing something, anything, just to get through time, and to not, I still was afraid, but not, I had some comfort, some comfort in knowing there's not going to be a surprise in my day. Everything is exactly the same. It's a hard way to live. It's a sad way to live in many ways, but I relied largely on like ritual, just regimented days. So anyway, I'd come down here and do latch hook. I'd turn the television on. I couldn't really, my cognition was so bad I couldn't really understand a lot that was going on with the television. Usually have some sports on or something else that keep it really low because I was very sensitive to noise. I would do that, like the latch hook, for hours. Really, I would go up usually till about 10 at least. And at 10 o'clock is when I would come over here on the chair again and sit and like prepare myself for the following day, like how to get through the next day. Okay, and I would always kind of like commend myself. I made it to 10 o'clock tonight, and I'm sitting in this chair again. I have met my goal for the day. And then I would do my whole, I guess it's a psychological routine, like not to have any expectation for the following day, just to get through it, not to expect to feel better or worse, knowing that I probably would feel the same because I had felt the same for many, many days in a row. So, and then I would eventually go upstairs and get in bed and sleep, and then in the morning start all over again, be there lying there in terror, and then getting out of bed and going downstairs and doing my routines again. So that's how pretty much I dealt with the fear and the terrors. It's a hard way to do it, I know. Now there were times where I did go out of the house. Usually once a day I would try to get outside for a little bit, like maybe walk out, get the mail, the newspaper, go to the grocery store with my wife sometimes, follow her around, or if she were going somewhere else, just kind of go along, like fabric store she'd go to, I go and follow her around a little bit, that was more psychological, just to, well, to kill time, like to get through some time, but also like to me it was like not giving up. It's like, okay, I'm trying this. It's not a big thing that I'm doing, but at least I'm trying it. That's not, for me, that was a psychological plus. It really was. Okay, so I talked a long time about fear, but fear's a biggie. That may be what's one of the harder ones. Akathisia is a nasty one too, and the Black Depression. Those three for me were very, very bad. Okay, the next email. Hey Don, I hope you are doing well. What a nice Indian summer we have been having. Hopefully you are enjoying it with your grandson. Sorry I haven't written in a while, but I've been pretty busy, much the same in the past few months. Okay, I was wondering if you know for a fact this isn't permanent. Okay, it's not permanent. I do know that, yes. You'll hear that from everybody who's gotten through. I'm 22 months off now, 5 months pregnant, and still feel like I'm in withdrawal recovery. I will admit my depression has improved since the first trimester, but it still lingers with me every day. I really feel like my pregnancy hormones are royally messing with my body. I was in a much better state before I got pregnant. My window wave pattern was better. I had multiple day windows and 1 to 2 day waves in between. Now it's pretty rough every day. Once in a while I'll get a really nice window day like I used to before the pregnancy. My doctor really wants me to go on an antidepressant. I tried Zoloft and Lexapro while I was pregnant for a few days and had awful reactions to both. I'm kind of glad that I did. They can't be good for the baby. He is worried that my postpartum is going to be horrible. As weird as this sounds, Dawn, I'm not worried about after the delivery. Once my hormones come back down to normal levels, I feel like the physical and mental symptoms won't be as bad. Am I crazy for thinking this way, or am I doomed for postpartum depression? Even if I do have postpartum, how much worse could it even be than benzo withdrawal depression? Sorry, but I think drug-related depression is way worse than natural depression induced by our bodies. I've experienced that a few times too. Thanks for sharing your opinions with me. I value them greatly. Okay, there's a lot here. And by coincidence, like right now, somebody came up on Skype. It's the young lady I helped, who was from Michigan, who had postpartum depression and went through a number of months like in depression. She got pregnant again a couple years ago, about January of, I guess it was January of last year. She delivered in January of this year. Okay, so she has a baby now that's 8 months old. Okay, and she's having some issues, but recently, like we've been going back and forth here with some stuff. I'll talk about her experience as it relates to this one, because I don't know how much, everyone's different, so I don't know that many, women who like were pregnant and got drugged and that, like withdrawal and all that, but I can talk about her stuff a little bit because I think it might be meaningful here. First of all, I didn't know her when she was in postpartum. She had her first baby, it was very easy for her. She had a good pregnancy. It was good. She had a cesarean section, I think, when she actually gave birth the first time and the second time, apparently. But the first time, and then she did get some postpartum depression. They drugged her. They gave her benzos, and they put her on a bunch of antidepressants for like a year or so, and she did not respond well to them at all. I didn't know her at that time. I knew her when she was about just a few months off. I met her, and she was really, really, really bad. Early on, she had a lot of the mental stuff, really super black depression to the point where she could not even feel love for her baby. It was really, really bad. I spent a lot of time with her. I talked with her on the phone. We would Skype, or we would like message on Facebook a good bit. But she told me, she said the postpartum depression itself was nothing compared to the depression of withdrawal. So it's like in the email I just read, like yeah, the postpartum depression is actually, for her, it was rather easy compared to the black depression and withdrawal. She had a very, very bad black depression and withdrawal. She really did. I was a little worried for her, but she came through that okay. Later, she had a lot of physical stuff, more physical stuff, a lot of fear and anxiety too. Let me see. Now this last pregnancy for her, way back when, before she got pregnant, a number of months before that, I had a discussion with her. She still was not quite through withdrawal. I could tell she still had a good bit of fear. And I kind of cautioned her, it's probably not really the best idea to have another baby right now, but her mother was like trying to convince her she should have another baby. So she did. She got pregnant. It was a really, really hard pregnancy. She had a lot of issues, a lot of, I think a lot of anxiety, a lot of physical stuff. She gave birth, C-section again. And after giving birth, she had somehow, during that whole time, she got a herniated disc. I think it was in the lumbar section of her spine. She had to have surgery. And then there's drugging with that and stuff. And when they do a C-section, I'm not sure what kind of drugging they do in that. But with the surgery, there was drugging, and then like recovering from that. She's had a lot of problems. They gave her, I don't know if it was prednisone or something for some time. And so she really was not out of withdrawal before she got pregnant the second time. So she's starting to have, she had a lot of fear from the back surgery. That physical stuff from the back surgery is getting better now, but she's having some withdrawal symptoms. So she put herself through a lot of stress, a hard pregnancy, and then the surgery was very stressful for her. So she's having some like tingling and different sorts of things, twitching, which she's all concerned about, thinking it's something else. And I said, well, believe it or not, it could be actually from withdrawal still. You weren't quite through yet, and then you put yourself under great amounts of stress, you know, so that's kind of what that's about. But the postpartum depression she had with the first child was nothing compared to the black depression of withdrawal. That's true. And this time she has like, it's some depression, but it's not the black depression. It's not, I mean, she can feel love for her family and that, so that's good. So it's different this time. So let me see, let me take a look at what else is in this email here. See if I can talk about some of the other things. Yeah, the hormone thing, that too is like, there's so much biochemical stuff, so many changes in pregnancy that it's hard to, I'm sure that if you're in withdrawal, that affects it somewhat. I'm sure of that. And then when you give birth, and then you know your biochemistry has to kind of revert back to what it was. So I'm sure that's a stressful kind of situation. But for her, the surgery after the second pregnancy that really did a number on her, and that would be hard on anyone. But if you're not quite through benzo withdrawal yet, that could be a problem. So it sounds like to me like, you know, she got like the windows and waves here. That's good. That's I mean, I can only think of positive things really. I mean, if there's no like additional drugging and all of that, then I don't see how there would be a problem. But I can only relate like this other young lady, her situation. Hers was complicated by the surgery, and she just had a hard pregnancy, the second one. And I don't know if that was, I don't know what that was from, if it just, you know, it just happened, or if it had anything to do with her withdrawal. I don't really know. But so you're not doomed, you know, you're not doomed for postpartum. She did not have postpartum in the second child. She didn't. She did with the first one. Unfortunately, they did drug her, and she did not respond well, and then they had her on for so long on the benzo that then she had to go through benzo withdrawal. So yeah. Okay, and this last email here, the third one, let me see, 24 minutes. Okay, my wife was diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome about a year and a half ago. In this intervening time, the amount of pain and stiffness of the hands has increased and decreased. She has a hard time bending fingers, like the tendons have totally stiffened up. Then some numbness, buzzing, and pain will radiate up the arm. She also has muscle pain in her arms. She has never had any issues with hands or fingers before this, and it started a few months after her last benzo. The arm pain got worse when she came off the antidepressant. One common thread to this is that she continues to experience anxiety, overwhelmedness, fear, not being like herself. When she experiences a time when symptoms are less severe, things appear to ease somewhat, but then all come back again. Is this something that others have experienced in withdrawal and have gone on to heal? She really needs to know that these symptoms will lift as the healing, so that when the healing comes to an end. Many people have these symptoms. Nerve pain, a lot of nerve pain, and it can happen anywhere in your body. Anywhere you got nerves, you can have all kinds of pain and strange sensations. Carpal tunnel syndrome, I don't know if withdrawal causes that, or like if it's like the symptoms of carpal tunnel is probably how they diagnose this. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, like numbness and pain, stiffness. I have a lot of that still, but I think mine is just arthritis for being so active when I was young and being told like you're gonna regret this, and they're right. Like all of the things, the muscles I pulled and broken bones and all of the sprains and strains and stuff that I had. It's very common to have muscle pain anywhere in your body, in your arms, your legs, in your stomach, a lot of times in the shoulders and back. But this is all very common. It's a positive that like when she's like feeling better in some ways, having like kind of like a window that like things seem to wane and she's feeling better, so that's a good thing. But yeah, everything here is pretty common stuff, and it eventually does go away. But when is the question? That's you get through each day, and overall, like each day we heal. We are healing each and every day. It's just a matter of time until we actually feel it. So yeah, that's pretty common for joint pains and muscle pain, stiffness, very common symptoms. So that's what I have. 27 minutes here. I thought about reading a success story, but I'm already at 27 minutes. So let me see. Today I want to take the carpet cleaner, the extractor, back out to the church. It's really heavy. Take that back out. Maybe do some other things while I'm out. I don't know. Probably watch a football game tonight. Not sure what I'll do like the rest of the afternoon. I don't. It's hot outside. I had thought about going out and doing some edging in the yard around we have an island in the yard where there's a tree and a bunch of vincas, but it's supposed to get up into the 90s again today. So I really don't feel much like doing that. So maybe I'll have to get mentally prepared for Eli bus duty tomorrow morning. I don't know. Haven't done it since last, I guess Friday morning we did it. Yeah. So I haven't. He did join us Saturday night for my birthday dinner. He sat on my one side and his father sat on the other. I was between them. It's a good dinner. The 7-pepper sirloin salad with the blue cheese dressing. It was good. Had my white peach tea. That was good too. There were 10 of us. It was a good time. We had a really good time. Went back to my son's. Had the spice cake. Excellent. Buttercream icing. It was just really, really good. The rest of the cake was good too, but the buttercream icing was nice and thick and tasty and sweet, and not the best thing to be eating, but you got to do it sometimes. So anyway, that's what I have. Yeah, the question about like the pregnancy and it's interesting because I haven't heard from this young lady in a while. Just this morning, like the lady in Michigan, she was messaging me and saying she has these certain kinds of symptoms of tingling and that, and she's thinking like, what do I have? What is this? What? I said, well, believe it or not, very, very probably still withdrawal. You weren't quite through withdrawal, when you get pregnant the second time, and then she had a lot of stress, like the surgery, she was C-section. She had a hard pregnancy anyway. A lot of psychological stuff happened in the pregnancy itself too. So it's no surprise to me that she's having some symptoms now, but her depression is not like it was the first time around. She had the really black depression the first time around when she was in really nasty withdrawal. She feels love now for her family, for her children and that. So that's that tells me this is not like it was the first time. I think this experience just revved some things up for her, and I think, probably get back to normal here before too long. But I know it's scary when, like, you start feeling things coming back, and I told her that, I said, believe it or not, I still have to. There are times when I have to pull back from what I'm doing, because I mean, everyone needs to do that. I think sometimes we go beyond our limits, and we get into trouble, and a lot of times that's why we end up on benzos and these pills to begin with. So when, I've been in withdrawal, I know what the symptoms feel like, and I know when, like, I'm getting myself stressed out too much here, I gotta just kind of pull myself back and take it easy. So and, like, I'm sure going through, like, pregnancy, a difficult pregnancy, and then surgery is that's even more stressful. So anyway, that's what I got here. I'll let you go. I'm at 30 minutes. Hope you're having a good day. I hope it's a little cooler where you are, unless, some people really like the 90-degree heat. I don't know. I'm not a fan, but that's just me. So anyway, I hope you're having a good day. Hope you have a good rest of the day. And I'll be back again tomorrow. Maybe have a Eli bus duty story. They're always kind of fun. I always get a kick out of, like, I'm always, like, kind of thinking, what's he going to do today? What's he going to say? It's been really good. In the last couple of weeks, it's been really good, but sometimes I hope we don't go back to the days where, oh, this is bad. Like last year when he got expelled from kindergarten for a day. Who gets expelled from kindergarten? I mean, that could be a first. I'm not sure. So anyway, I'll let you go here. As always, I'm right here, and I will be right here. Bye-bye.